Okay, we should have sound now. Hopefully. Hopefully. David wanted to do a test too, you guys, but it was almost 6 o'clock. So I was like, we're going to do it. We're going to go on. We're going to just do it and we're going to see what happens. So you guys let me know. Yes, Lori, new soundboard, but my husband wanted to wait till next week because we really weren't prepared. But I was like, no, we have to try it tonight. Can you guys tell which one of us is the sane one? It's not me, by the way, in case you were wondering. Hey, Lori. They can hear us now, babe. So,
All right, yay.
I know. Well, we figured some things out, so we'll figure some more stuff. So we have sound on Facebook, YouTube. Can you guys hear us now? If anybody's there, they probably like, we can't hear. We're out. Oh, oh Lord. Hey, Stacy. Can you hear us, Stacy? Okay. So Dreaming Cast Studio said they can hear us now.
Yay.
Thank you so much. Thank y'all for y'all patience. We're trying to upgrade, but you know, technology. Gotta love it. That's what they tell me. Let there be sound. Hey, Miss Dorothy. How are you guys doing? Hey, Joby. How are you? You can hear us now? Okay, good. Can they hear you, babe?
I don't know. I'm not there yet.
Okay. Are you still hooking up microphones?
I started before you made the switch, so.
Okay, so David's in motion, so he is going to be continuing doing what he's doing. Oh, wait. I'm going live on TikTok too tonight, y'all. Y'all pray for me. I'm probably trying to do too much. We'll see what happens, right? Hello, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us live tonight. If anyone is new, my name is Royce Hunt Bell. I'm the and the voice behind the microphone that I hope you can hear when we actually do our mic check with the regular mic setup is David Bell, my husband, and together we make up Roycycled Treasures. So tonight, you guys. So last week, and we'll say hi to everybody, you guys. As soon as David gets, he's in motion, so he cannot stop now. So we'll be sure and say hi to everybody. But tonight, we spent a lot of time last week, or I spent a lot of time last week talking about the Iron Orchid Design frames mold, right? And so, and I talked about different ways that you guys could use decoupage paper in the frames to be able to make Christmas ornaments. And I thought, like, instead of just talking about it, why don't we do it, right? So that's what we're going to do tonight. So I've casted some in resin ahead of time, but we're going to cast some together, no worries. And so tonight I am working with Amazing Casting Resin. I have my A and my B is what I'll be working with tonight. And then I pulled out a couple of molds. We'll see if we get through all of them. I don't know. I even pulled out some Iron Orchid Design air dry clay, you guys, because sometimes you guys see me use resin. Like I use resin like 80% of the times, but sometimes I prefer to use clay. And so we're going to have some clay tonight so I can show you guys how to use that in the molds as well. And then I also pulled out, so the two frames molds from ILD is this one, right? And it has multiple frames in there. These are really pretty. And then they came out with a second one, and I have resin in one. It's still kind of tacky, so I'm letting it set up. And these are like really big molds. So you guys can see that these are bigger than the smaller ones. These are so much fun, and you have so many options. So like the one here, you can tell it's my favorite because I poured it. And then this was a piece I made for Halloween to go on a bottle. And so you guys can see like all the detail in there, right? I love this. It's fabulous. For my folks on TikTok, I am so sorry if I do not see your comments. I'm going to try to look, but you guys go by a lot faster than they do here. On YouTube and on Facebook. So if you're on TikTok and you're frustrated because you can't see really good or something, you can join us over on Roycycled YouTube or Facebook. So just options. But if you guys rather hang out on TikTok, that's fine too. So we are going to pour some molds tonight. And I also have the new Jingle mold from Iron Orchid Design. This one's a lot of fun. It has a bunch of reindeer on there. And the favorite part for me is this one. It's like a deer mount. And I have, this is what I made last year for Chris. Well, this is what I made earlier using that mold. So this is one of the frames from the frame mold. And this one is the deer. Where's the bird from? What bird? So Shane is asking if I can post the brand resin that you use or a link. You know what, Shane? If you put hashtag Amazon, hashtag capital AMAZON, you'll get a message automatically with the link to my Amazon store. And you'll find it in my store because this is my favorite resin to use. So I made this deer head, right? Because now I have a mold. But last year I had to sacrifice the head from a toy to make me a little mini mount. But this year I won't have to do that because IOD came out with a stag. So now I won't have to do that. And so anyways, so tonight, you guys, we're going to pull out our molds. I have Jingles pulled out. And I also pulled out the Cameo mold. I can't find mine, so I got to open another one. The Cameo mold to play with because these can be really beautiful ornaments. Like I'm thinking, oh, I should have done a picture. Let me see if I can pull up a picture for you guys. The one thing I love about Apple is that any photograph that I take on my phone automatically comes to my tablet, which is nice. Okay, so I have been playing at the house this week, and I made this Christmas tree. Well, I didn't make the Christmas. It's a Christmas tree, and I put a whole bunch of fall flowers. And I don't know if you can see, but at the top I have some pheasant feathers. Oh Lord, say that fast 3 times. Right? And I know you guys on TikTok can't see it. I'm sorry. But if you guys want to see better though, I'm on YouTube and Facebook. Just saying. And so I made this and I was just going to do it for fall. And then like, you know, the weekend after Thanksgiving, I could just take the fall stuff out and then put Christmas stuff up. But I'm kind of feeling those warm tones, that like peachy blush with the burgundy and the purple. And I figured I could put some copper in there. So I might, my Christmas might be looking a lot like fall this year. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I say all that to say that I can make a whole bunch of ornaments, right? With my coppers and my blacks and make that. Or I could use a lot of my cameos and kind of make kind of a bougie Christmas. I put a tree up. I know, Kathy. So, but what had happened was I figured, because I am going to have a big tree, but I want to have a lot of like mini trees all over the living room. So my idea was I would put all my trees up and I would dress them for fall, right? And then the weekend after Thanksgiving, I could pull all my fall flowers off and put Christmas decor on there. It just so happens that I kind of fall in love with the fall though. So we'll see what happens. I know y'all. I know I'm a hot mess, but we'll see what happens. So I do want to show you guys a couple of the ornaments that I made last year. This was one that I made. This is one of the frames mold. And then this is just a little tiny piece from the Royce decoupage paper that I used in the middle in order to create this one. And then this was one that I made using one of the frames molds, right? And a piece of Royce decoupage paper. This is an angel from the Fine Art Christmas block decoupage sheet. And then this was another one that I made with one of the frames, and I decoupaged just a tiny piece, right, of Christmas paper in there from one of my recycled Christmas decoupage sheets. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to make some Christmas ornaments using our mold. Y'all gonna have to help me stay focused. Help me stay focused because y'all know how I do. I start getting ideas and then I go off. So we're going to try to stay focused tonight on making ornaments using the IOD frame molds. Are you with us now, baby? My poor husband, y'all.
Are you calling for me?
Yes.
Because I'm listening, but I was waiting because I want to hear me too.
Okay.
To see if I'm there.
Okay. The sound man is making sure the sound is okay.
You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was telling, there we go. I'm fine.
Fine.
No, I was also communicating with somebody from the radio station.
Oh.
I've been doing the news for all 3 stations this past week. And just letting them know that I have news for tomorrow, I'm okay.
Okay.
So,
Look at how pretty that is.
so we do have, all right, do we want to say hellos?
Yes, let's say hellos.
On YouTube, we have Karen Ulabari, Dorothy Bell, number 1. I'll follow the chat, then watch you in a few days when you caption. Dreaming Cat Studio, Phyllis Donley, Ruru2.
If you're on Facebook, you should be able to turn on the captions.
That's YouTube.
I know, as I'm telling her. On YouTube, if you click the 3 dots, you can turn on the captions so that they come on like in real time. You don't have to wait.
Let's see. Tommy Smith and Sandy Henkelman. They're watching on YouTube. On Facebook, we have Kathy LePage, Joellen McCartney, Donna Schumacher. Those little birds are great. Kathy LePage says you put a tree up?
I know, Kathy.
We didn't last year. We bought a tree, but we didn't put it up.
I know. I'm putting up a bunch of trees this year. They're already in the living room.
Lori Stanley Henderson, Jody Jeffries says she can never stay focused. Shane Sellers, sometimes leave my tree up after Christmas, decorated for Mardi Gras. Dorothy Altemus, Mary Casey, Alyssa Bricker Visithin, Kathleen O'Brien Hoovis, not staying focused is creative. Sandra Grandy, Kathy LePage asks, what are you drinking?
Just some coffee.
Deirdre Hunt, Wendy McMurray Broughton from Kansas, and Mary Grace Creations, Patty Guynup Mitchell. Did you bring out your anniversary gift? Have you used your anniversary gift yet?
Oh, I haven't. No, my hubby bought me a little a cup warmer to keep because you guys, I may or may not be guilty of warming up the same cup of coffee like several times in the microwave. Maybe, just saying. And so he bought me a cup warmer to keep my coffee warm.
But it's a cup warmer and a phone charger.
Yes. So Jackie, if you put hashtag Amazon with a capital A, right? So hashtag, I should just change that. Hashtag capital A MOZON, Amazon, AMAZON. Then you'll get a message with the link to my Amazon shop. If you're on Facebook, yes. That's how that works. And stay focused. Yeah. I cannot stay focused.
Please like and share if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube. We'd love it if you subscribe and hit the little bell, because 1, bells are always great. And number 2, that lets you get announcements when we're live.
Okay, so I'm going to put, let's see, for my TikTok folks, I'm going to put you guys down so you can see the workbench. You won't see me, but that's fine. And let's get you guys down to the work table so we can get started tonight. I've already started pouring some so that we could get ahead a little bit because I do want to paint some of these. I pulled this one out. This is the Village Market mold. You guys, I think that I saw somebody, this is not my idea, and they took the heads of these animals and they put them in the molds. I mean, they put them in the frames to make like really cool framed faces. So like, if you like farmhouse, you can even put farm animals on your ornaments. So if we have time, we'll play with that a little bit. But let's get some resin poured. I know that some of you are still feeling a little anxious about using resin. So we're going to pour again some more. Y'all know I'm going to keep on doing it until you guys do it. Because it's not that bad. And once you start, you're going to wonder why you waited so long. So my pour cup, I need to buy me some more cups because they've been through some things. This is resin I poured in earlier and I just let it dry in my cup. It probably needs to dry a few more minutes, but I'm rushing it. And that's how I clean my cups, you guys. It just comes out. So the bottom of my cup has like a little bruise on it because when you're pouring resin, you do not want to leave it in your cup for a few days. Ask me how I know that. You want to pull that out like at the end of your session, because if you leave it in there, you might have to like really pull it out and then you bruise your cup, which affects how your resin pulls out later. Just, learn from my mistakes, y'all. So let's pour some resin. I was going to bring some book stacks out, but I already know we wouldn't make it through that. So These would be really pretty, you guys, to pour. And then could you imagine this on like the front of a pretty book stacks? You paint the books and you decoupage them, and then you could put this frame in the middle on the front with like a Christmas paper and maybe stamp something on there. I thought that would be really pretty. But I decided not to bring the books out because I'm going to try to stay focused.
Kathy LePage asks, are there any molds that have Christmas vegetation that you could use around the necks of the animals?
Yes. So, criminies, is it this one? One of them, okay, so this one has a lot of hollies on there. There's hollies and but there's one of them, let's see, there's Jingle and there's the Baubles mold, which I do not have out here, does have like a little bow. And so you've probably seen it on him because a lot of people are using that bow from the Baubles and putting it on the deer's neck. Oh, there it is right there. So there's a bow right here on here, but you can also use some of the holly from your holly mold, the Holly Lane mold, because you have tons of options with this one.
And we have 2 tips. It's the same tip, I should say,
and
rather.
I still don't have the other one out.
From 2 different people.
Yes.
Patty Ann, Paddy, and Cindy Dobson Lanfer both say turn the silicone cups inside out when the resin's dry. And boom, just pops right off.
Very interesting. I'm going to try that, you guys. I learn from you guys all the time. You guys know that. So let's go ahead and get these poured. So we'll do this part together, right? We're going to pour together. And then we'll come back to the ones I've already poured and we'll paint those together. And then a lot of times you guys will ask me about hot glue. So it's not one of these molds. It's a mold that I did in hot glue. I'm not going to discourage you from trying hot glue because it may work for you. For me, I always get these little pits in here when I use the hot glue. So it's not my preference, but the benefit is that it stays malleable like forever. And so if you want to wrap it around something, you can. So you can use hot glue. I haven't had good luck, and I'm sure it's operator error. And yes, I've tried more than 3 times.
On YouTube, Roo2 says, Royce, I accidentally purchased high gloss resin. Have you used it yet?
High gloss resin. So is it like a, oh my gosh, my brain just went dead. Because I use a casting resin, but you also have the epoxy resin. Is it an epoxy resin? Because the epoxy resin does act a little differently. You can use them in your mold. Just know that you're going to have to leave them in there for like 10 hours, 6 to 10 hours. So I've used epoxy resin. It's personally not my favorite just because it smells like it has a really strong odor and it takes forever to set up. But that resin is better for like coating. So like if you did a tray, and you're going to put resin in there like over your decoupage, the coating resins or the epoxy resin is a better option. So it just depends on what your plans were for it. So let's go ahead and pour some resin together. This is my silicone cup, you guys. I swear by these. It just makes my life so much easier. But like everybody else, they put these numbers on here and they just like make it part of the surface. And my eyes are too old for that business. So I have it marked. So I just used a pen and I've pre-marked my lines so I know where they are. And the cool thing with the new molds too is it actually tells you how many mils of resin that you need for each item. Although I am not like, I'm not together enough to actually use those measurements, but if you are like an organized person, that is there for you. I am going to pour 40 mils all together. So I'm going to do 20. I always pour in the same cup. I know people do it differently. So I'm going to put 20 mils in this cup, because I have my line, right? So I know that that's 20 mil. And then when I do when I do my B, which is the second bottle, I'm just going to pour up to 40, right? Because then I know that I've done 20 and 20.
Let's see. On YouTube, Lori Scott says, I use hot glue as a dam so I could pour resin in part of the mold, like just pouring heads.
Ooh, that's a good idea. I am stealing that idea. Just so you know, I'm stealing it because
go ahead.
I was trying to figure out, where's my hot gun, my hot glue gun, because I was trying to figure out if I could just pour the heads of those animals. And I can do it with a hot glue gun. That is such a good idea.
Ruru2 says it's amazing resin, just high gloss. Then on Facebook, let's see, Marley Grace Creations does not like hot glue ones. Susan's Painted Blessings, mine were always sticky. Donna Schumacher, I love hot glue, but you need to keep two guns going at the same time on high heat. And then we have two questions. Are the cups and the resin in your Amazon store?
Yes, they are both in my Amazon store. So I'm going to stir this. I'm going to tell you guys something. I'm working with, this resin is pretty old, like a few years old. One of the things I noticed, usually, when I put my two sides together and I stir them, it gets clear pretty quickly. So when you add your two ingredients and you stir, you want to keep stirring until it gets clear. So what'll happen is it'll be cloudy at first, and then as you stir, you'll see like ribbons of white, but you want to keep stirring until it's clear. But your setup time is only 5 minutes, so you can't stir like for a long time. But you just want to make sure that it's mixed up really well. So I'm going to go ahead and pour these. This is one of my favorite frames right here, which is going to take the majority of my resin.
Jan Kilborn says, I did epoxy on a tray, had to move it to my spare room to keep from touching it. I wanted to stick my finger in it so bad. Susan's Painted Blessing says, I used a Sharpie and tablespoon to mark mine using water, then dried it out for how far to...
Oh, yeah.
measure.
I just used a permanent marker and I just marked my lines so that I know where they are. And so I have a little bit of resin in here, you guys. I like having extra chingadiers close by, because then if I have a little bit of resin, I can just cast something extra. So.
And Mary Eaton, who I think is coming on just a tiny bit late, said, what was the second thing you poured into the cup? You need both parts.
Yes. So the resin comes in two parts. Let me start at the beginning. I apologize. Your resin, you'll have an A side, right? An A resin and bottle, and then you'll have B. So it's a two-step process, and before your resin will activate, like it's going to stay liquid, so you have to add them together in equal parts in order to mix your resin. So I like the 5-minute formula. This is the one I use. It's in the purple box, and be sure that you read 5 minutes and casting resin. So for the amazing casting resin, it comes in the purple box, and it says 5 minutes, and it says casting resin, you guys. So that's the one that I use. And you mix them in equal parts and you stir them. And then when you pour them into your molds, you can see that this one is already starting to set up, right? And I love the 5-minute one because I'm impatient, and being able to create in 5 minutes is the bomb. Let's see. Hey. And then, yeah, that's why I like it. And it's not stinky. I mean, it has a little bit of an odor, but not like the epoxy resin. The epoxy resin is like the business. So that's how you use your resin in your molds. I love this because if I'm going to be working on a large project, I can crank out a bunch of molds, right? I can just pour them and pop them, pour them and pop them. And then I have them, and then I can use them on my project. And so a lot of times resin is good for me to use. And because I'm pouring it in as a liquid, I feel like the resin captures all those tiny details in my molds too. But I also like using the air dry clay sometimes, like today, because I didn't know the hot mold trick, but I'm putting that trick in my library.
Kathleen O'Brien, first, Kathy Hess says I use a food scale for my resin.
Yes.
Amber Demakowitz, no. Even it froze up on my screen as well for a moment.
Oh, okay.
So,
but it's not frozen. My glasses are so dirty.
Kathleen O'Brien Hoovis says, thank you for the free gift. I'm excited to print out all the pages. Such a creative, useful idea.
Dang it. And I meant to bring that out so I could show you guys. So really quickly, if you guys are a Roycycled Insider, you guys got the email that I sent out earlier this week. Thank you so much, Amber, for reminding me. And I sent out...
That was Kathleen.
Oh, Kathleen. Sorry. Thank you, Kathleen. What I sent out this week to my Recycled Insiders was it's like a creative notepad, and it has 3 different pages on it. The first page is like a brain dump, and I used like a graph paper on that one instead of lines because all of our minds work differently. Sometimes when I have an idea, I sketch things. Sometimes I write notes. Sometimes it's a combination of both. So that sheet is just like a brain dump. You know, you have an idea, it doesn't have really good form yet, but you want to get it down so that you can go back to it later before you forget. The second one is if you have like a project idea, and it just had it. I wish I would have brought my pages out. It's on the printer, Daddy. You guys should see the look I got right now. He's ready to choke me out. So I insisted that we work with the soundboard like an hour before we were coming on live. And then he ran to Walmart to go and get some stuff that we needed. He came back, tried to get the soundboard connected still. So my husband is ready to choke me out. So if I come up missing, y'all, you just know that David did it. Okay, just saying. And now I'm sending him back in the house to go and get the note sheets. But I wanted to show you guys. So I hope you guys like the notebook. Like I made it the way I thought like I would like to have notes. And the good thing about it is in the email, the pages are individual pages. I noticed when I was looking at the stats that a lot of people open the cover and then fewer people open the other pages. So just know that when you click on print here, it's only going to print that one page. And my thought process was that everybody's not going to find use for every page, right? So you guys can only print out the pages that you find value for because there's 3 different formats. So I thought it was odd that there were more prints for the cover than there were for the actual pages of the notebook. So if you guys click the button under each of the sheets, you'll be able to print out that specific page. I hope that makes sense. So yes, I did send that out to my Recycled Insiders. I hope you guys like it. If you want to be an insider, what does it mean to be a Recycled Insider? My insiders, they get a gift from me every month. So I'll make a resource and I'll send it out. And it's usually something to help us be more creative, to be more successful with creative things. I don't know. We did a 10 ways to get wrinkle-free decoupage one month. Last month, we did like 7 ways to make crafting easier. And then this month I made, it's not on the printer.
There were 4 invoices.
Oh, okay. Maybe I thought I was going to print it out. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't show you. But if you're an insider, you guys have yours. So if you guys signed up and you didn't get the email, look in your junk email. It would have come from Royce at roycycle.com. So check your junk mail and make sure that, you know, Google didn't say it was junk and put it in your junk or your spam email because those did go out this week. So anyways, that was my gift this month. I was going to show you guys, but apparently I did not print it out. Botox for decoupage. I know, right?
So on YouTube, Tommy Smith said recently had open heart. I forget my ideas in a matter of minutes. So now I write and sketch everything as I'm thinking of it.
Yes. And that's why we made this notebook. I think it's a really nice way for you to have your ideas in one place. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I made like, you know how file folders have the little tab on the top? I put a tab like that on the side of each of your sheets. And that's so that you can write, like you can either categorize your notes, you know what I'm saying? So that you can organize them for later, if that makes sense. So like on the side of my notes, I would probably put like class idea or Christmas idea or something so that I could just flip through my notes and see like what category the notes belong to so that I could actually find, right, my ideas later. So anyways, I just wanted to talk about that for a second. Thank you, babe, because I did send that out this week. If you are not a Recycled Insider and you want to be, you want to receive a gift every month, any kind of announcements that come from Recycled, my insiders always hear first. So insiders get to see the designs first. The insiders were able to see the stencils before anybody else when they were launched. So you guys have you have firsthand information. A lot of times when we launch something new, there's not a lot on the market, or there's not a lot available. So when you find out first, you can reach out to your recycled retailer first, and make sure that you can get your hands on whatever the new thing is. So, and other stuff. I send out weekly emails with either information or inspiration or some story about something crazy I've done, you know. So if you put hashtag insider in the comments, you'll get a message from me that shows you exactly how to be an insider on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and put hashtag insider, and I'll go back to my notes. And I'll go back and I'll put a link in the comments so that you guys can find it as well.
Joellen McCartney says, on last week's ideas, do you need 2 coats of fabric Mod Podge on the canvas bag before putting the decoupage paper on it?
I would do 2 coats. I did the first coat full strength, right? And then I did the second coat, I watered it down a little bit. But I liked putting the 2 coats just to make sure that I get really good coverage. And those of you who weren't here last week, this is what we made. We made this pouch, and I know on TikTok you guys saw my little short video, but I actually did like a full tutorial live on YouTube and Facebook last week. So this is what we made last week, and it's just a fabric. It's a canvas bag, right? And we decoupaged it, and you can like scrunch it and everything, and it's completely fine. Now we don't know if it's washable. We said we're gonna wash it and find out. So, but yeah. So that's what we did last week. And I did use a really nice solid full strength layer of the fabric Mod Podge. And then the second one, I watered it down a little bit. And then I ironed it on. And I used the fabric Mod Podge formula in order to do this project. So I'm going to work with the clay for my animals because my hot glue gun is not nearby. That is such a good idea. I am stealing it for the future, but I'm going to use the clay. And some people prefer the clay. I think it's just a matter of preference. Some people like the hot glue gun. Some people like the resin. Some like the clay. The good news is you can use either one, right? So I just have like a little stiff spatula that I'm going to be using. And if you guys shop with me, you probably have one of these if you bought a mold, because I generally send these out with my molds. I like to send out tools with my orders to help you guys create. And so the clay is super easy because you just push it in there. And Iron Orchid Design has a micro edge on their molds. And so it's super easy to flatten them out and make the backs flat so that when you glue them down, they're flat. Which for the resin, you have to be really careful because it's easy to over pour and your backs can be domed. And then, so you guys see that? I just smushed it in there. And yes, smush is a technical word. And then I pop it out and I have my little cow head that I can put on an ornament. So I could theoretically have like a cow head ornament, right? Which would be super cute. Especially if you're like, if farmhouse is your decor. You guys notice I dusted this first. This is just a makeup brush from the Dollar Tree, Wet n Wild. I love these, and I use cornstarch. So I just dust my molds with cornstarch before I use the clay so that my clay pops out really easily. So we've done clay in the molds, and we've done resins. And what time is it? 6:37. I'm trying to do 3 things every Sunday. So that's 3 things. So we've done resin in the molds. We've done clay in the molds. So now let's paint one. We'll do that. And let me bring you guys in just a little closer here on Facebook and on YouTube. And I don't know if I can zoom. Oh, I can zoom. Oh, Lord. No. Swipe to close. Okay. Sorry. I'm trying to bring my TikTok in a little closer too. Okay. So this one is the mold that we popped out of here, right? So it was this is the one we're gonna work on first because it's my favorite. And it's resin, and we can paint this one. So you guys, while I put my clay away so it doesn't dry out, you guys can give me an idea of what color should I use. I have a white, so we can do black. I have some Posh pigment, so we can do metallics if you guys want. I think if we're going to do metallics, we should use black first.
All right. Susan Gully says clay is cheaper, but can break. I use both depending on what I have at the time.
Yeah.
Kathy LePage asks, is the resin hard or soft like Jell-O?
The resin? No, once the resin sets up, it's hard. Now, if I wanted to make this a little bit more malleable, because I just used it, I could heat this up with my craft gun and I would get some flex from this. But once it sets up, like, you know, if I try to warm up something like that's really old, I just don't get as much flex. So like, I follow a furniture artist. She's so talented, Molly, and she did a dresser and she put like 5011 flowers on her dresser, and she used the clay, which made sense for her because she was cutting them so that her drawers could move freely, and she was laying down a ton of them. So she could bang out a lot of them with the clay. And this wouldn't have made as much sense for her. So it really depends on what you're doing.
Susan's painted blessings. Do you need to wash before resin?
Do you need to wash?
I'm guessing the molds?
I don't. But you guys know I'm terrible to my craft supplies, so I don't know if I'm the best example. But I do not. Even if I have the dust in there, it won't affect it. It'll still be fine. So I'm going to start off with black paint because you guys know I like dark colors. So did I bring, I do this every Sunday. I forget something. And last week I forgot plates and I never did bring in more. So let me see. La, 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 la. Oh, look at all these molds. She
meant washing after you use cornstarch.
Cornstarch with the clay. Do I have to wash it? Nah. I mean, I don't. You could. Just make sure you dry it completely. You don't want to have any moisture. If you wash your molds, make sure they're completely dry before you use resin, because any kind of moisture can ruin your setup. I learned that the hard way.
Should be noted the molds are also good for food.
Yes, you can use these. So like you can use these with food if you wanted to make cookies for the grandkids. The snowflake mold, because this is the snowflake mold right here. How beautiful would that be here as some sugar cookies? I will say though that if you're going to use them for food, that you want to set aside the ones for food and not like, I don't want to pour resin in here and then turn around and use it for food.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I would set it aside. So see, I'm trying to stay focused.
Kathy Hess, I did a queen size sleigh bed, used over 400 castings in resin and clay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Jean Bartholomew asks, will any type of paint work? Or do you need something special?
No, you can use acrylic paint, if you have chalk style paint. You guys know how I feel. A lot of us are serial crafters. You probably already have what you need. So you don't feel like you have to go out and get something different. You can use probably whatever paint that you have on your workbench is going to work just fine. I just happen to use chalk paint like 99% of the time because that's my personal preference.
Tommy Smith on YouTube says polymer clay is very sturdy. And Deanna Simley says, I don't wash my molds before resin. I do make sure there are no partials. And they say keep resin and food separate.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, Lord. I didn't close my bottle good, so we'll see if I have black paint. I need to refill my FIFO bottles, y'all. I'm a hot mess over here. If it wasn't for you guys, I probably wouldn't even get to come in here and play. Seriously, I am so busy. If I would have known that I would be spending like 99% of my time on my computer when I started a creative business. No, I'm just kidding. I would still do it. I still love it. So I'm like, you guys see me kind of poking it because there's like tons of details and I want to get the paint like in all those details. Whenever I'm painting like a metallic, I like to start off with a black base or even a red base, especially under gold. If you paint red under gold, it just makes it so beautiful. But we're going to start off with black tonight. I'm not going to paint the middle because I want to decoupage the middle, and I want to have a light color under my paper. And so there are a lot of different options for the Roycycled Christmas decoupage papers, you guys. So make sure and reach out to your local stockist and see what they have. Because we have a little bit of, I think we have a little bit of something for almost everybody. Almost everybody. I try.
Next year we need some Hanukkah.
Okay.
We need to.
We have some ladles on the watercolor Christmas.
Dreidels?
Dreidels, yes. Thank you, baby. The ones that Lexi did. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm finalizing designs for our next launch, which you guys probably won't see until December. And the new artist that we're bringing on next quarter, she is so talented. Her work is so beautiful. I cannot wait to show it to you guys. I cannot wait. Of course, we've loved celebrating Corey Dantini. She did all of the super quirky Christmas designs. And we are always looking for artists to partner with. And we do pay our artists. I'm not asking anybody to do anything for free. So if you guys know somebody, like, have them reach out.
Yeah, she doesn't like my suggestions.
What was your suggestion?
I always find artists on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, should we reach out to this? Oh, why don't we? And your response is always, oh, they're nice.
I know, because I'm looking for something very specific. Not specific. We want to celebrate original art, absolutely, but I also know what my customers want.
And I understand that.
You know.
I get it. I like a great expanse of styles. You've seen my office.
Yes.
So
his office is all comic art, just so we're like.
Well, art's art.
I know it's all art, but you have a tendency to be drawn to that type of art, though, even though you don't realize it.
No, I try for different artists.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's tough getting them to do it because they don't think of themselves as able to do comic style.
Oh, okay.
But I'm like, I don't want comic style. Like the watercolor artist is the most recent one I did, Jen Olson.
Yes.
And honestly, she did it more comic-y than her style, which was not what I was hoping for.
Oh, you actually wanted her to do her style.
I wanted her to do her style. But she's thinking, well, this is what you like, so therefore...
Yeah.
It's like, no, I like all the different styles. I like them cartoony. I like them realistic. I like them stylized. I like them abstract. I like all of it. But it's got to catch me.
I probably could have painted some of these ahead of time, but, you know, I figured this would give us... Last week we didn't do a lot of chit-chatting because, I don't know, I was on a mission last week.
Susan Gully asks, who is the artist? Or do you not want to announce yet?
Not just yet. I will announce as we get closer. And if you're a Roycycled Insider, you'll get a newsletter with all the goods before anybody else. So,
let's see. Susan's Painted Blessings say, pay me in product. Marcy Eaton, do you have old-fashioned Santa paper?
Yes and no. I don't have... Do I have a... We do have some old-fashioned Santa, yes. And if you go to roycycle.com, you can see all the different Christmas designs that are available as well.
Susan Gully says turquoise iris.
I know. She makes beautiful stuff. She's busy with her magazine, which I got my copy. I meant to take a picture with my copy. I am so incredibly proud of her. Like, getting a magazine to copy is not a small feat, you guys. Like, having a physical magazine. And I know she's had her digital magazine, but actually being able to do, like, copies, that's huge. Huge.
Kathy LePage says Magic the Gathering art is cool. No argument. I agree. It's a what style would I call that? Magic the Gathering has a feel like those old Harlequin romance novel covers.
Oh.
Kind of. It's that gothic kind of look.
Mm-hmm.
We know somebody who modeled for cards. Kara modeled for.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we know one of the models for Magic the Gathering. Let's see.
We were watching that 70s show, remember? I mean, they didn't call it a Harlequin novel, but that's what Red was reading.
Yeah. A bodice ripper is what we used to call them.
A bodice ripper?
A bodice ripper.
Oh, my.
Lori Stanley Henderson, I just put the barn and truck on a galvanized pail, then painted on it a little.
Ooh. Did you share it in the group? You guys know what? I love when you guys share your projects in the group. And if you haven't joined the Recycled Upcycling with Decoupage group, you should. I'm saying. You'll get to see ideas from everyone. You can share your projects. You can ask for advice about a project. If you're looking for a specific paper design and you haven't been able to find it, you can post it in the group and one of the retailers will reach out to you and let you know if they have it. And if you're already in the group, you guys, please feel free to share your stuff in the group. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is a place where we celebrate each other and we encourage each other. And we don't have any mean people, because if I see any mean comment, they get booted. And not just their comment, but them, because we don't do that.
It's a great place to ask questions.
Yes.
Because there are lots of people that know a lot more than me, certainly. Let's see. Joyce Phillips Peterson says you need Royce to do some for you, David. So Royce is kind of here. All right, here's a weird thing.
Oh Lord.
I'm going into it. Because it's semi frustrating, so I have to vent.
No, you can't vent to people.
I have to vent a little bit.
No.
It's just between us. It won't go any further.
Oh my gosh. I have no idea what he's going to say, you guys. So I don't know.
So last year we were planning on, I organized a comic convention and we took 1 year off. We took 20 off and then we were going to come back in 21. And as part of that, I had reached out to a number of Arizona artists to, if I got them the stories, they would illustrate a comic book about the history of where we live, Graham County.
Yes.
Graham County, Arizona.
I'm going to do one more. Okay. Carry on, babe.
I applied for a grant with our local United Way.
Well, the Historical Society applied for
Well, yes, but I was the one who
I know,
put
but
in the
I just want to
application.
make that part clear.
Yes.
Because we don't want misunderstandings.
Yeah, it wasn't a Dave thing. It was a Historical Society thing.
Yes.
And got the word from the director.
Oh, no, you cannot vent about that on here.
Yes,
Baby,
I can.
That is inappropriate.
Here's that it was approved. Everything was a go. And Royce was going to do the cover.
Yes.
So that was Royce's contribution to the project. So Royce was going to do the cover. Well, the director got a different job. They got a new director. And apparently everything just kind of fell through the cracks. And so I have to reapply for the grant.
Oh.
So that's all I'm venting for. So we're going to try it again. But there's no way I can do it for the coming Comic-Con in 23.
In that time.
Because they want me to apply in the next grant cycle, not this grant cycle.
I didn't get that part of the story.
Yeah, I just got the word.
Oh,
so
interesting.
There's no way I can do it because the next grant cycle opens in January
Yeah.
and our convention's in March.
Yeah.
So no way, but we'll still do it.
Yes.
So to answer your question, yes, Royce is going to kind of do.
I'm going to do the cover.
Going to do the cover, and it's not going to be comic-y. So it will not, it's going to be for a comic book, but I can almost guarantee it will not be comic booky.
Maybe.
So
You don't know.
I have a feeling.
I have a feeling.
So Denise Hutchison Nerdall says, I love Sarah Van Horn's works of art. I have to check her out. Susan's Painted Blessings. I need to find the group.
It's Recycled Upcycling with Decoupage is the name of the group. And And yes, please come and join us. I'd like to think that, I don't know, there's some pretty awesome stuff in there.
And on the plate to your right are those pine cones.
They are. These are from the molds. So on the holly mold, you'll notice that there's 2 pine cones. And then we have one from last year that had pine cones as well. So these were ones, I did this live a while ago where I took two halves. The good thing about the molds this year is they made them symmetrical. So you can put them back to back. And I created like some little, ¿cómo se dice?
Ornaments.
Ornaments. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, baby.
Deanna Smile, I love that you are, this is on YouTube. I love that you are here for us and are real about how many crafting supplies we collect. I also spend a lot of time looking for my supplies.
Oh my gosh, you guys have no idea.
Dreaming Cat Studio asks, can they be digital artists?
Yes, maybe. They can be. Anybody can reach out to us and we'll look at their work and we'll see. They can be digital artists, yes. We're open to to looking at anything.
Joan Volkman says, sorry, I was wrapped up in watching the Packer game, almost missed the live.
Who won?
When I came in here, they were down 14-0. So Packers are bad this year. They really are. They're not good.
Is it not good? I'm sorry.
Is what it is.
Should I send condolences? Thank you, Linda. And I'm just drying these really quickly. I was going to show you guys. So you guys remember how stiff this one was? I could warm this up right now with my craft dryer and it'll actually become more malleable. So that if I wanted to like put this on a jar, I could just warm it up. I'd have to warm it up some more, I guess.
Leanne Ziegel says a steampunk blouse buster.
All right. Steampunk blouse buster.
I'd be okay with that. I mean, I never read those. Those were not my cup of tea.
Oh, okay.
But
that's what they call them?
I don't know, maybe.
Well, because you said something else, Buster.
Bodice ripper.
Bodice ripper. Oh, yeah. Bust buster, bodice ripper. Oh
yeah, my gosh, blouse buster, she said. Belinda Ruth, are these done with clay or resin? These are resin.
These are done with resin. I demonstrated the clay, but we're working with the resin.
Susan's Painted Blessings, how sad. No, not sad. It just, look, we had to cancel our convention last year.
Yeah, you guys, things are so sketchy. You just don't know, right?
Yeah, we wound up losing our venue because it sold. So we were going to move it to an outdoor venue, but we got hit with 40-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
So we're like, you know what? We're canceling 22.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have mattered if the comic had been done or not. So not sad, just one of those things.
Yeah.
It's, there was a transition, not a big deal.
Okay. So we have 3 of them all painted. Let's decoupage them before we gild them, because this is what I wanted to talk to you about it. So what sparked this idea is I got an email from someone and they're like, I need you to make some decoupage paper like that is specifically for the frames. And I'm assuming these are the frames that we're talking about, because see how these are really small, right? But the thing is, if you guys look at the paper, there's all kinds of opportunities to take something out of them to use. This probably wouldn't look good with black, but this is one of the papers from Corey Dantini. Super cute. You have Santa Clauses on the top, right? Really colorful. But if you look at this repeat really closely, there's a whole bunch of little houses on there. So I could cut out one of these little houses and put it, and it would fit perfectly in this little frame, right? So that would be an option. So if you look at your papers, there are really a lot of options. This is like a Christmas village here. And this is the fine art Christmas block. You guys can tell I've already used like most of it. Yes. But I could take and use a portion of this, right? I could just, and it would be somebody on ice or, that I could have that would be in the frame. So while there aren't papers specifically to fit in the frames, there are a lot of papers that have elements that are small enough to fit in the frames. And so, this is the Christmas masterboard paper, and you have this tiny little bird right here. I think I want to use him. that I can put in there. This deer would fit really cool in this one, right? The larger frame, I could put him in there. And so that's what I wanted us to kind of look at and play around with today. Because while there aren't paper specifically for the frames, there's still a lot of opportunities. I'm going to use this one because it's already kind of cut up. And look at even this little stamp that says Merry Christmas. I actually know that that one fits perfectly because I've already used it. I want to say that was the one. Oh, it wasn't the one, but you guys can see last year when I made this one, I used kind of a one of the postage stamps from one of the designs inside of that frame. So
Susan's Painted Blessings loves the village. Everybody's agreeing the Packers are lousy this year. They are.
Everybody agrees the Packers are lousy this year.
Look, this would have been a rough game on a. If the Packers were doing great, this would have been a rough game. The Bills may be the best team in the NFL this year.
Oh, okay.
So, a loss to the Bills is nothing to hang your head over. It just would have been nice if they were competitive. That's all.
Yeah. When they get wiped out at 0, that's no way.
No, they actually scored 24-7.
Oh, okay.
So
this one, I can actually, so there's 2 little birdies on this little piece of paper right here. So I'm actually going to try to use each of them in a different one. But I don't know if I'll be able to. But y'all know I'm going to try. It won't be for lack of trying if I don't do it.
Yeah, I like the Bills for the Super Bowl. Got a lot of go Bills right now. Even though they lost to the Dolphins, but the Dolphins lost their quarterback, at least for a little while, because he got clonked hard on the head. His head bounced off the turf.
Oh.
And then they played him the next game.
How does that work?
They cleared him, and it's like you cannot go by an athlete because an athlete's always going to say, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So that brought up a whole lot of CTE issues. And
and that's your career.
It is. But, they're young kids, and
they think they're invincible.
I'm in the NFL finally, and I got to make the most of it. And
I know.
It's up to the grown-ups in the room.
Yes.
And so there's been a lot of debate over that. But no, the Bills are legit. The Bills are legitimately a very, very good team.
The Bills are legit.
They are. There was something. Oh, somebody said they used to live in Racine. I saw it and I forgot where they are. So I have a question. We're watching that 70s show. And I think most of us that are watching right now I still like the Bills over the Eagles. Sorry, Pam Knight. Remember, they're in a really bad division. The Eagles are in a horrible division. Even though the Commanders beat the Packers. And anyway. So we're watching that 70s show. I think everybody on here is familiar with the 70s.
Yes.
You may have been born in it.
Yeah.
But most likely, most everybody on here has a foot in the 70s. So there's a debate going, where is Point Place? Because it's in Wisconsin.
Okay.
And Point Place is obviously based on Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
Oh.
But Stevens Point, Wisconsin is not particularly close. It's more to the north and west of the state. Not totally northwest, but towards the north and west. And the kids in the show will they talk a lot about going to Kenosha.
Yes.
They talk about going to Milwaukee. They don't talk about Madison that much. I think only when they were thinking about college. They do go up to Green Bay, I think, once. They talk about going to the Michigan border because they drop somebody off at the Michigan border and leave them. And they talk about going to Canada. So where is Point Place? Some people have suggested it's Racine.
Well, that's what they said that they did they say they grew up in Racine or that they
No, somebody on here said they used to live in Racine.
Oh, so they're suggesting that's where it is.
No, they're not. I'm asking
okay.
if anybody's familiar with it. I still think it's Stevens Point, and they just make the drive because when you live in Stevens Point or Eau Claire or Minong or any of those towns in Wisconsin, you're driving. That's just the way it is.
I guess what I'm saying is that person probably said that in response to your mentioning that 70s show.
No, they mentioned that with the Packers.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So Eagles are undefeated. Yeah. Patty Ann, that Miami game was controversial. I agree.
So you guys, I'm just like decoupaging these are like super simple. Last week we talked about projects that you could do like with friends and or families during the holidays. This could be another one, right? You could do some resin pours ahead of time, and then everybody could just kind of go through your decoupage scraps. You wouldn't even have to sacrifice paper. No, I'm just kidding.
Denise Hutchinson Nerdall says a fictional suburb of Green Bay. I don't think so, because if you're up in Green Bay, you're not going to Kenosha on a regular basis. They also mentioned Six Flags, which was in Gurnee, Illinois, but that's right over. That's literally right over the border
But if
from
it's
Kenosha.
fictional, they'll probably just mention all kinds of stuff randomly.
But they're going to no. They mention Kenosha a lot, which makes me think it's a little closer. But I prefer to think of them as Stevens Point. But let's see. Yeah, Susan's Painted Blessing, Kenosha was close. And she says she wishes her husband was here for this question. Cinder Cindy Dobson Lanfer, my whole self was in the 70s. Denise Hutchinson Nerdall says that's what it says on the web. I got to disagree. It can't be. Cannot be that close to Green Bay.
It's all fictional, though.
It is. I mean, it's all pretend. It's as convenient as it needs to be for this episode. I understand.
Yes.
So if they are close to
like when they went to the Michigan border and you were like, where on earth could they be if they could just drive to the Michigan border?
Well, you got to go to the UP.
I know.
Because when we went skiing, that's where we would go, and we went through Green Bay to get there.
I understand, but I'm just saying to you, they change the rules each show based on...
They really do. It's just, the convenience of the plot.
Yes.
So... Kathleen O'Brien Hoovis, I noticed you cut it to fit. I'm not that good. Can the excess be sanded?
You know, it can't be really sanded because it's kind of an inset. What you can do is be super careful about where you put your product and then trim it off, like let it dry first and then trim it off with a blade, like your X-Acto knife.
Oh, and I did throw a word out there that I think only so far Mary Sharkey knows. And Susan's Painted Blessings. The UP is the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
You're doing local speak over there. We don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry about that. Yeah. You're an Ooper.
How cute, you guys. I don't know if black is the best color for these, but my point was that you could literally decoupage any parts of this. Even if I wanted to take this like random scrap, I could still put that. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure and get some script though.
Denise Nerdall, could be Pleasant Prairie. Okay, all right. Susan's Painted Blessings suggests Stevens Bay.
So really quickly, I'm sorry, you can continue, but I'm using my nail to score the inside, like against where the edge of the thing is, so I know where to cut. So like you don't have to be that good because you're just going to hold the paper there and you're going to score it with your fingernail, and that's going to inform where you're going to trim it. So you can trim it like close to perfect. See what I mean? And then once I do that, see how I have that circle there? Can you guys see that? You can probably see on the back better. That perfect circle that I formed there. So now I know exactly where I need to cut. So that's how I'm able to trim it to fit inside of the frames.
Joan Volkman says there's a wind point in Racine County, has a lighthouse on Lake Michigan. Patty Ann, definitely wait till it's dry if you trim with a blade.
Yes.
Don't ask me how I know.
I know the same way you know. Because it'll tear your paper if you try to cut it before it's dry.
Let's see. Shannon Booth. I don't think I could hand this Christmas paper over to my family to cut up.
That's why I'm saying, girl, let them have the scraps. The scraps, there's still enough. Because look, this is just a little piece of a scrap. But look, there's still enough yumminess there that it's going to make a pretty ornament. Because I still have my berries and I have the script.
Pat Reed asks, what are you using to put the image down?
Oh, you know what? I'm using Wiseout's 1 Hour Enamel. But you could use whatever clear coat you have already in your craft. or you could use Mod Podge if you have that on your craft table too.
And Lori Stanley Henderson, I grew up in the Mitten.
And I probably could have been more careful with my black too, but I don't mind the black showing through the paper. It looks kind of like a halo. But and it's kind of domed a little bit, right? So I go over the middle and lay that flat first. And then I go over and I kind of use the moisture of the medium to help me get my paper to lay down around the edges.
We're at an hour 7.
Are we?
Yep.
I know today wasn't very exciting, but we were talking about the frames last week. So I wanted to actually create some ornaments with the frames.
This is like an ornament for the Addams family.
What?
Black?
Well, I'm gonna gild it.
I know. You're gonna gild it up.
We're gonna zhuzh it.
I know. But right now.
Right now, that's what it looks like.
It looks like.
So I could use, oh man, I should have brought my white wax. I just ordered some DIY white wax. And I could put white wax that would be really pretty on this. But if I want to bring out my details, I can do several things, right? So I can use a white, and I just want a little, and I kind of want, I'm using my lid because I kind of want the thicker paint off of my lid. And I'm only going to need a tiny bit. So I'm just going to put it right there. Because like literally, I'm going to need a tiny, tiny bit of paint. Because I have several options for how I can bring out the details. Because there's a ton of details on these. And so I could dry brush with a lighter color. So I have this white here. And I'm going to dip my brush in that white. And I'm going to offload like all of it. What feels like all of it anyways. And then I can go over and I can just dry brush over the top to brighten that up, and also to really highlight those details. And you see how when you paint something a solid color, a lot of times those details will disappear, right? But if you dry brush with a lighter color, you can really make those details pop.
Kathleen Hoovis, how are you going to hang the ornaments? Ribbon glued to the back?
You can glue ribbon to the back. I'm going to show you guys what I do as soon as we get finished gilding these and, you know, making them party. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to hang these.
Anna Lee asks, what metallic paint do you like to use?
I have multiple choices I love to use. I love using Posh's metallic paste, or I love the pale gold. I'm looking for one that's already open. My pale gold pigments, which we're going to use right now, is my favorite. I cannot tell a lie. I love it so much. And it's a mica powder, you guys, but it's like a super, super fine mica powder. And so I am going to just put a little bit of that on my plate. And I love making these mica powders. I love using the Posh pigments too, because if I want it to be really opaque, I can put a ton of the mica in there. Or if I just want to have like a shimmery glaze, I can use just a little bit with a lot of my clear coat. So I'm just putting my clear coat on top of here. You can use any water-based clear coat for this. And I don't want to use that brush. Let me find another one.
Mary Casey, TV shows take liberty. A few weeks ago, Chicago Fire responded to a fire at the Pickwick.
What's a Pickwick?
The Pickwick. So I actually knew about this a few weeks ago.
And you see how that is? Doesn't that look like molten gold almost? This is my favorite color, is the pale gold. So I only mixed a very little bit because I know I'm only going to need like a little. But look at how pretty that is, you guys. It is so beautiful. I love this gold. And so I'm going to use my fingers. When I gild, I like to use my fingers because I don't know why. So just a little bit on my finger, and I'm just going to touch the high points. And that's really going to bring out those details. Look, you can see them a lot better now, right, than you could before.
So the Pickwick Theater is in a suburb of Chicago. It's in a town called Park Ridge. I knew about it because that's where I went to high school, was Park Ridge. I didn't live in Park Ridge, but I went to high school there. So my high school Facebook group mentioned that they were filming there, and some of the people I graduated with were extras, that sort of thing.
Oh, cool.
Because they still live in the area, and so they went. But yeah, Park Ridge is not close to Chicago. It's not far, but it's not.
It's not Chicago proper.
The town I lived in, literally, I could throw a stone, and it fell in Chicago.
Okay.
We were on the border. As a matter of fact, we were surrounded by Chicago. Park Ridge is a little further to the north and west.
What do you guys think? Yes? No? Maybe so? I'm trying to find the camera. Sorry.
So, and I'll give you one more trivia question, or
Okay.
a bit of trivia, how they always get things wrong. In the Blues Brothers, they go from Park Ridge, which is northwest. It's north, I'm trying to think. It's basically straight north from O'Hare Airport. Not far, but a bit. That's when the state troopers see them and start to follow them, start to chase them. And the next scene, they're in Harvey, Illinois, which is about as far south as you can get before you hit Indiana. The magic of movies. We all knew it because that's where we grew up. And we're like, and I actually went to go see some of the filming in Park Ridge.
Yeah.
Because we were still in high school when they were making that movie.
But that's normal. Us folks that don't live there, we don't know.
Yeah, nobody else would know.
This is an orange gold. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of this in my pale gold just so I have a different color.
Donna Schumacher, do you seal the frame first?
Before I do so you could, you don't have to, but you could. The thing about sealing, and I'm using a chalk style paint. So if I was really concerned with being able to wipe this back, I would seal it first because that gives me a little bit more freedom to be able to wipe it off if I don't like it, because the chalk style paint is super porous. So as soon as I lay that product on there, it's getting sucked in and it's done. So if I wanted to wipe this off, it'd be harder, right? I mean, if I was hard pressed, I could just paint it again. But that's just, something to think about. But you don't have to, but you could. So it's just a matter of preference.
Shannon Booth says her Wise Owl stockist, Whispering Hills Market, in the small old town area of Sumner, Washington, there was a 3-alarm fire and a total loss for them. Nobody hurt, but it appears the store was a loss.
Oh no! What store was that?
Whispering Hills Market in Sumner, Washington.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go look. I hadn't heard anything.
Let's see. What was Marcia Ritzma says? What was the Decoupage group one last time?
Royce upcycling with Decoupage.
And Connie Berkrim said she had a slight freeze. What did you mix the mica powder with?
I mix it with my Wise Owl 1 hour enamel, but you can mix it with any water-based clear coat. So if you have another brand already on your craft table or in your craft stash, you can use that. And then if you don't have a brand, like if you don't paint furniture and you don't have a clear coat, Posh does make an activator that you can mix with, that you can use with the mica powders. And so you guys are asking how I would hang this on my tree, and let me show you my preferred way. So I love, these are jewelry bells. B-A-I-L is how you spell it. And I love these. They're used on jewelry, and you guys will notice on the ornaments that I showed you earlier, I just glued one of the jewelry bells to the back, and then now I can just run a ribbon through here. And I think they look really finished and they look really beautiful, and they're made to go on the back of jewelry. So the back part lays flush and then your hook kind of comes forward a little bit. So that's what I glue on the back of mine. And I do want to do one more thing. What time is it, babe?
We are at 1:16.
Okay, I have time. You guys will notice on the back of this one, I decoupaged it, right? So it'll be nice and finished. So I'm going to show you guys how I did that really quickly. But for the jewelry bells, I literally, you guys, it's so easy. I'm not going to glue these tonight because they won't set up in time, but I'll show you guys. This is how the bell comes. And it's like, almost looks like a little shoe from from Monopoly. And so there's a side that has a texture to it, and that's the side that you're going to glue. That texture is to help it grip. And I just put a little dot of E6000 on there. And then I lay it down flat against my piece like this. And then I leave it there until that glue sets. And once it sets, like it's good. It's not going anywhere. I made these last year. And oh, that one I put a hole in. This one I put a hole in and I put a jump ring through, right? So you have options for how you can do it. Or you can just glue something to the back, like a ribbon or something if you wanted. I just think the bells are really nice because it makes it look really finished. It's BAIL, Bell. And on my Amazon shop, if you put hashtag Amazon with a capital AMAZON, you'll get a link to my Amazon shop and you'll see the jewelry bells are in there. So I just think they look really finished, really polished, and your ornaments look really nice. So if you have like a booth space or you're selling your crafts, it'll look really nice and finished. Know what I mean? And they're not expensive at all. So it's not like, your profit margin is going to be demolished by your decision to use that.
How about the mica powder? Where can they get that, and what's it called?
It's Posh, and they're called Posh Pigments, and you can actually find that at roycycle.com, roycycle.equid.com. Can you put that in for me, please, baby? This is a piece of, so this paper in particular is one of my favorites, and it's called a junk journal project block, and it's because in my mind I imagine people using all these yummy bits like to make different junk journals and things. And you guys can see you have really small like these are fully fleshed out designs. They're just tiny, they're smaller, so you can use them in smaller things. So but I want to use this script, I really love this, on the back of this ornament. So I'm going to show you guys how I do it really quickly with a shape like this. It's kind of complicated. Do you still have my scissors, baby?
Yes.
Because I'm over here with these little bitty snippers.
Ooh, I did.
It's right there behind you. It's on the box right there.
Yes.
And I'm trying to figure out which part of this paper do I want to use. I kind of like this part because it has like a little grunginess to it. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this, because I know I'm going to use it for these smaller projects anyways. And I'm going to go ahead and trim it so that the rest of this paper can be out of my way. And the beautiful thing about Roycycle decoupage papers, you guys, first of all, for anybody who's new, these sheets are a full 20-inch by 30-inch, so they're huge. The 18-pound tissue is really nice because it's heavier than like the regular tissue paper that you use to like, pack your gift. But it's still light enough that it disappears when you decoupage with it. And these products are accessible. So you can spend less than $10 for a sheet of this paper and you can make like multiple projects. And I also think it frees you up to experiment too. Hopefully, I know some of you haven't done anything with your papers yet because you're afraid you're going to ruin them, but like, if you don't play with them, then like, why did you need to play with them? That was the whole point of getting them. So I'm going to put a little bit of water in this lid right here. I'm going to put you guys a little bit closer too so you can see what I'm doing. Give me just a second. Oh, Lord. I overfilled that a little bit. Let me bring you guys in. Get a little closer. Don't be shy. Okay, and let me see. I don't even know how many people are watching on TikTok, but I'll bring you guys a little closer too. Okay, so I'm gonna lay this is what I do, because this shape has like, it's not complicated, but right, it's not just a square. So I'm gonna take my little brush and I'm gonna use like a really fine brush for this purpose, right? Because I don't want my line to be like super thick. I want it to be thin. So I'm going to use a really fine brush and I'm going to go around. I'm going to dip it in the water and I'm just going to draw a line around my ornament. All the way around.
When does the time change? That's coming up in a couple weeks, isn't it?
Didn't it change already?
No, doesn't it change in November?
Oh, yeah. That's right.
We don't, look, we're not particularly aware because Arizona doesn't change,
No.
but that just means we move from one time zone to the other, which is a pain in the neck.
Yeah, because I think I put mountain time on my thing because I thought we changed already.
So, because I'm seeing people like Melissa McCracken came on YouTube and said I'm late.
It's my fault because I put mountain time. I'm sorry, you guys.
Technically, we are. We're mountain something time.
Mountain daylight time, I think, is what we are right
and we're
now.
that all the time.
And then we go to Mountain Standard Time, though. Right now, we're the same as Pacific Standard Time.
Next week, November 6th. So, yeah, so right now, the easy way to think of it is Arizona's in Pacific time right now.
Yes.
Next week, we move into Mountain time.
And so now I can just go in and everywhere where I drew a line with that water, the paper is going to tear. And so that's how I kind of approach or address like complicated issues when I need to cut my paper. Although I didn't put enough water on the top, so it dried out. Let's see. But I think that makes it easier than trying to like cut it perfectly to go around all these different shapes that are on here.
So that begs the question, what time are we going to be on next week?
Are we going to
sticking
change?
at 6?
I don't
So
know.
what do you guys think? Should we stick at 6 o'clock Arizona time, which would be 8 o'clock on the east, 7 Central, 5 Pacific, or should we stay at 6 Pacific, which would be 7 o'clock our time? No, we're not starting at 7.
No.
So it really is 5 or 6 o'clock.
We've done 7 before, but that's too late for you.
Yeah, it really is.
But you guys see how I was able to cut that right to fit my piece. I could have tried to cut it, but that would have been a lot more difficult, right? And so I'm just going to decoupage this on the back really quickly, and then we'll be done, baby.
So no, I'm just asking. Should we start at 5 or 6?
Oh, we'll take a vote. What do you guys think? And I'll also send a poll out to my insiders too. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Our insiders get to weigh in, right? On sometimes what we're gonna do on a live, what project we're gonna do, or I don't know. I send out polls though via email to my insiders, so they get to weigh in on some of our decision making.
So if we started at 5, it would be 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. If we start at 6, it'll be 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Angie Champagne says stay at our current time, which would be 6.
Well, we're 6 o'clock now. Oh, you mean like right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I got
So
you.
if we stay at 6, instead of starting at, like right now when we start at 6, we're starting at 9 Eastern.
I would imagine it'd be nice to be a little bit earlier.
So if we start at 6, it'll be 8 Eastern. But if we start at 5, it'd be 7 Eastern.
Yeah.
But it would be 4 Pacific.
Well, let's let everybody vote. And then we'll make a final decision. And so I have a little bit that's hanging over on this one side. So I'm just going to take, well, if I have a sanding block here somewhere. My sanding block. Because if it's a straight edge, it's easy, right? I can just sand it. But these little dooley-dads up here, I can't really sand those. So, but that's how I'm able to decoupage the back of mine fairly easy. And still account for all of the intricacies of the design. And so now that I'm done, I have my fine line here. I think I'm going to take this just so it looks more finished. And I'm going to put a fine line of gold. Am I in the frame? Sorry, you guys. A fine line of gold all the way around that edge. Y'all see what I did? I'm going to go back in with a little brush and clean that up a little bit. But what do you guys think?
So right now, everybody likes 6 o'clock our time, which would be 5 Pacific, 8
It would be
Eastern.
earlier for everybody else.
Yeah, 8 Eastern.
And like I said, 6 is better for us because 7 is late, babe. You got to go to work.
I didn't suggest 7. I suggest 5 or 6.
Oh, okay. So you want us. So if we go earlier, that would be the same time?
No, they're saying just keep it at this time.
Yeah. So I'm trying to clean up my line a little bit, you guys, because I got a little carried away.
What is that fine line thingy?
This is a little bottle. I don't know. I found these on Amazon, and they're like little bottles. I don't know if I have these in my shop, but it has like a little metal nozzle on there, and it's like a super fine line. And right now I just have, I think I have some metallic ink is what I have in here. It's a metallic acrylic ink, I believe is what I put in here. And so far they don't clog up in my tip, which is nice after I use them. So I'll make sure and put these on my link too for you guys.
Michelle Bell Rasmussen, where did you buy the frame? She did not.
I didn't. We made this together today. So let's go over what we use. So these are my 3 designs we made today. And of course, I mean, you guys know the drill. You guys can make whatever you want to make, right? With your own. So that's the one frame. And we did this smaller one. And the cool thing about this one is all 3 of these frames are on the same mold, right? So you guys can make all these with just the one product. And then these were like literally scraps. The pieces of paper on here are scraps from the paper that we used last week to make the purse, which is the recycled Christmas masterboard paper. And I just used scraps from that paper to decoupage in these. And we probably used a total of like a tablespoon of paint, right? So the most expensive portion of this project would be the resin that we use to pour these. And so let me show you guys the mold really quickly. Let me pull you guys out a little bit because I know we came in pretty tight. So let me, oh Lord, I can't. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry, my TikTok people. I'm still learning, you guys. This is my first time going, well, not my first time going live, but going live on Sunday. And if you guys are new here tonight, we are live here every Sunday at 6 p.m. Arizona time.
And that's the consensus. Everybody basically is saying 6 o'clock Arizona time. Earlier is better.
Yes.
So
and so we use the frames mold. So that's just the one mold. And you guys saw these are the 4 frames or the 3 frames that we use were 1, 2, 3. We use these 3 frames tonight to make these. And all we have to do is glue the bells on the back and the frames turn into ornaments, really cool ornaments that we can make. And so those were the ones that I made tonight, but these are ones I've made before. This is the face of the angel from the Fine Art Christmas Block recycled decoupage paper. I guess I liked her because I made her twice. No, when I do videos, I generally have one like in different stages when I do YouTube videos. So I have those, and these frames I painted gold, right? And so I took, these are the same thing. These are just pieces of papers that are from different decoupage, recycled decoupage papers. And I use gold paint to paint these. And I believe I painted these with the stinky, what we call the stinky gold. You guys know, I don't think I have any stinky gold on my table. I think I have it in my Amazon store though. I think that's the gold I used on those. And then, oh, this is a frame I use with a toy deer head to make this one. But if you had the Jingles mold from ILD, you could use this tag head in conjunction with the frames mold. So I don't know. I think that's what we wanted to do tonight because we talked about ways that you could use the frame mold to make ornaments. And so I wanted to come on and do that this week. And so this is the one I made for Halloween. And it's curved because I was going to glue it on the bottle, but I just couldn't sacrifice my bottle, so I didn't do it. And this is from the Jingles mold as well, you guys. They have the deers on there. This one's really cool. Let me see. So this is the Jingles mold, and this one has a stag head on it, which is my favorite. And the cool thing about these is that they're facing different directions and they're symmetrical, so you can put them back to back to make like a, you know, a 2-sided deer. And then this is the other frame mold, which is a larger frame. So this one, I love, love, love this one. And I think that's all I used. Oh yeah, and I used Posh's pale gold, Posh pigments, and pale gold is the metallic that I used tonight. And I used Wise Owl's black chalk style paint. So not a ton of products tonight. And I think that's it, unless you can think of something else, babe, that we needed to go over. Just really quickly, you guys, thank you guys so much, first of all, for coming and hanging out with us on Sundays, because I know I'm a hot mess, but hopefully we have fun. If you guys are not getting alerts like from Facebook or from YouTube of when we're going to go live, like reminders, you can text hello. Actually, if you put hashtag text in the comments, you guys will get a link to how to join. But I can't see the number, baby. It's covered up by your hat over there.
That's not my hat.
I know. It is. We bought it at a thrift store, remember?
Not for me.
We did. I remember. I was there.
I don't need a bus driver hat. All right, I'll put it in.
Well, I can't read it from here. Can you read it?
I think I can.
Okay. If you can tell me too, so I can make sure my folks on YouTube and TikTok can.
It is 1928.
Thank you, Molly. Oh, Molly's on. Molly is so freaking talented. Molly, I need to send you some paper.
1-928-563-4641.
So if you guys text hello to 928-563 4641. I send out texts probably usually like anywhere from 20 to 10 minutes before I go live.
Belinda Stoneham, text, not X.
Yeah, sorry. Hashtag text. So that you guys can get an alert when we're going to go live. If you guys want to be a part of Recycled Insiders, you guys let me know. If you're on TikTok, if you'll message me and let me know, or you'll, I hate TikTok because you have to be friends in order to message the other person. So I'll make a TikTok so that if you guys want to be a Recycled Insider, I can get the link for that. Actually, if you guys go to my link in bio, I believe there is a button on there to become an insider. And then for YouTube, if you guys will put hashtag insider on there, I'll send you guys the information. And then of course on Facebook, you guys will get it automatically. But my insiders, I send out information. Like this week, I'll send a poll out to our insiders, and that'll probably be the defining, because I feel like those are my peeps who are like in, right? So they get more of a say so. So we'll send a poll out and about the times, and you guys can decide that, and then we'll share that next Sunday. I might be a little hairy scary next Sunday because that will be the last Sunday before Pinners, right?
It will.
It will. So Pinners Conference, you guys, if you're going to be in Arizona, we will be at the Arizona Pinners Conference on November 11th and 12th. I am super excited. We've been preparing all month. We have kits for the class that we're going to be having. And so we also will be doing make and takes in our booth all day Friday, all day Saturday. So if you guys want to come out and say, hey, how you doing? You guys can come out to Pinners and hang out with us. We have a lot going on. There's a lot going on, but I'm crazy excited. But next week, what I want to do is, because right now I have like all these Christmas trees all over my living room. Some of them are like 3 feet, 4 feet, 2 feet. And it's been pretty fun figuring out like what I'm going to put them in, because I don't want to just sit them on the surface, right? So some are in crocks, some are in antique tins, some are in different things. And so next week, we're going to play with some ideas for what you can put your Christmas trees on. Because like if you want 3 different sizes on your porch. So we're going to look at different ways so that if you don't have like vintage stuff to put your trees in, we're going to make some. We're going to make some stuff for you guys to put your trees in. So that'll be next Sunday. So hopefully you guys will join us. But I think that's it. Alrighty. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. You guys know the drill. Like you guys know, there is not anything that we've done here today that you guys cannot absolutely do.